There is a very interesting article in the Star newspaper today. It's actually the headline, very interesting. I want us to go through that article. Let me just read for you the headline. The headline is saying, Ruto guards kicked out of Kenyatta's team. You know, that's serious. Ruto's guards kicked out of Kenyatta's team. I want us to go through that article. I'm not so sure whether it's true or false. But the mere fact that it's making the headline, it means it's something which we should go through. Because if anything, the security of the president and those of the deputy president, and even of Kenyans in general, is one of the most important aspects of this country. The article is saying, the elite security detail guarding President Uhuru Kenyatta, his deputy William Ruto, and their families have been separated from their central command. So let's just look at it from this perspective, that if you had 50 security guards, then they were being managed centrally. Then at any given time, those who are going to guard the president are told, way and they are deployed to the deputy president's office, to their residences, something like that. But they were operating as a unit. So it's saying, in an escalation of differences between the country's top two leaders, presidential guards attached to the first family now report directly to State House. Those attached to Ruto report to his official residence in Karen. The guards have, since the administration's assumed office in 2013, been operating as a unit and could be deployed interchangeably to the two leaders and their families. The changes in security arrangement have also affected guards of retired President Mwai Kibaki and his family. Multiple sources within the presidency told the Star that the move was informed by soaring relationship between Uhuru and Ruto. Now, I don't know whether this is true or not. I want to assume it's not true, because I don't think that these guys have been working as a unit. If they've been operating as a unit, then how do you then know that these ones were attached to Ruto and then these ones were attached to the president? The truth of the matter is that even Raila Odinga, as the opposition leader, has security attached to him. I don't understand how security attached to Raila Odinga can the next day be told to report to Kalonzo Musyoka, can be told to the next day report to, say, even Junet Mohammed. Because of the truth of the matter is that presidency is a big thing. And the security of the president and those of his deputy is so important to an extent that I don't want to believe that the arrangement they had before is that today you can be guarding Ruto, then the next day you are told to go and guard the president. My assumption is that those who are guarding the president, as much as they could be a unit, but those assigned to the president are always assigned to the president. Those assigned to the deputy president are always assigned to the deputy president. But let us not go into all those details. Probably we might not even get to know the bottom of what really transpired. I don't want to rule out the possibility that a lot of changes has been made there. But why do you think, if it's true, these changes have been affected? Why do you think the security of Ruto and those of Uhuru would now be separated? I have several theories. Number one, I think it's all about information leakages. There is one thing which Kenyans have been asking themselves: where Dennis Itumbi gets his information from. And on this video, I actually did a comprehensive video about Dennis Itumbi and his sources of information. Dennis Itumbi always gets most information ahead of even the media, ahead of even every other person. So Kenyans have been asking, where do you think Itumbi normally gets his information? If it's true that these guys were operating as a unit, then it's possible to infiltrate and get information from them. Because if you have 50 people or even 20 people guarding the president, and the next day they guard the deputy president, or even after they change like every 2 months, then chances are that these guys will be interacting. They'll know each other. They'll become very close. And the truth is, even a pope has a preference. So even these guys have preferences. So one of them could be used to leak information. And that's why they've been kicked out. Remember, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, when he was still alive and was the deputy president, the vice president of the Republic of Kenya, he was infiltrated. Some of the security around him were being used to spy on him. Let me just take you back to 2018 or 2013. After 2013 election, President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed Dennis Itumbi and a group of bloggers to directors, and their offices were actually domiciled at State House. Then after the fallout between Ruto and Uhuru, Dennis Itumbi and the group were kicked out and the office disbanded. Why was it disbanded? It was disbanded because there was a feeling that the information which Itumbi used to get, or the information which Itumbi used to access by virtue of operating from State House was actually being passed on to the deputy president. And that's why the deputy president was ahead of the president in most cases. So Itumbi and the group were kicked out. And any other person who was deemed to be allied to the deputy president. But that did not stop Itumbi from gaining access to more information. So after Itumbi was kicked out, there was even a story that a former personal assistant to the president, who is actually a relative, you know him, I don't want to mention the name, was also kicked out of State House because he was being accused of relaying information to the DP, or his access to State House was limited. But again, Itumbi still continue getting this information. And that's why I want to believe that the main reason why these changes were made is because of the information leakage. And the best sources, the people who can easily leak information, are actually the security guards. The guards. But Kenya, I know, especially those who are guarding the president, I'm 100% sure that those guys are highly trained. They are professionals. And that's why I'm even doubting whether this story is true. That's number one. Number two, why this might be happening, I think there's a feeling around the president and his allies that William Samoei Ruto is not keen on following the government laid down procedures and protocols on the COVID. We all know that the president, even yesterday, addressed the nation. And out of that address, there are specific things he encouraged Kenyans to do. One of them, which was affected, was the crowd. But William Ruto has been defying. He's been holding rallies and rallies and rallies everywhere, including last 2 weeks when he escalated those activities in a clear act of defiance. So I think the president and his handlers believe strongly that because the deputy president is defying the laid down protocols, he's going to put the president to risk. So if it's true that these guards were working as a unit so that in this week this could be sent there, this other one, this other side, I think the president and his handlers have decided that we are going to operate separately to reduce the risk of the spread of this pandemic. Because let's face it, which other politician in this country is attending rallies the way the DP is doing? No any other. Number three, I think it's about the mistrust, which they talked about. I remember there was sometimes 2018 when there were rumors that the main reason why the president fell out with Ruto, or the main reason why the president reached out to Raila Odinga, was because Ruto wanted to impeach him. You know, such rumors can only happen when there's the window of mistrust. So these two gentlemen don't trust each other. And since they don't trust each other, it means they don't even now trust the guards guarding Ruto and the guards guarding Uhuru. So Uhuru doesn't trust them, Ruto also don't trust them. I'm told there was even a time when the DP decided that he was not going to be guarded by most of these guys because he was also suspecting that probably some of these guys were being used to spy on him. So there's serious mistrust between these two gentlemen. And Number 4, I think it's all about 2022 politics. The question is state machinery, state power. Will the president hand over power to his deputy? Because if the security alone, he can do this, is he ready to hand over power? Because we are only 13 months away from the election, which means in an ideal situation, the president and his deputy should be working very closely. And even if they're not working very closely, William Ruto, being a top contender for the presidency, has the chance of becoming the president. So these security apparatus, in my considered opinion, they would be working very harmoniously. You know, they can disagree politically, but when it comes to issues like security, then they just work together. I think it's about 2022 politics. Will the president hand over power? And lastly, I think it's a message which is being sent to the deputy president that we can do anything. We can do anything. But sometimes I don't really, I'm reading this story, naona tu kama ni drama, because if it's true, then I think as a country, there are certain things we should not allow. Even if we disagree, there are certain things we can't allow. But if it's serving the best interest of Uhuru Kenyatta, and the move is serving the best interest of Uhuru Kenyatta and the best interest of the deputy president, then I won't have any problem. Otherwise, if it's not serving their interest, then I think there are certain things as a country we should not allow to happen. We should respect the offices. And one of the offices is the office of the deputy president. Being the office of the deputy president, it has to be respected. And that's why sometimes I normally have problems with William Ruto when I see him misusing the official residence, because that's the official residence. Today in this country, if you are not a member of Tanga Tanga, then it means you cannot go to the office of the deputy president, because it has been turned into politics. I would want a situation where someone like, say, John Mbadi, the ODM chairperson, can walk into William Ruto's office specifically on matters of fashion. But you see, that office has been turned into politics to an extent that if Mbadi were to walk into that office, the DP would want him to join his party, or whatever he wants, he can't get. I would want a situation where the office of the president is open, so that someone like Oscar Sudi can actually walk to that office and inquire certain things as a Kenyan, not as a member of parliament, as a Kenyan first, or even as a member of parliament, or even as just, you know, just as a leader, without suspicion. But you know, we are in a situation where you are either Tanga Tanga, you are either handshake, or you are in one Kenya movement. I don't know what you think. Let me read your thoughts. What's your thought on this security thing? Let me get your point. Let me hear your point. Thanks, you guys.